Aisha, you pitched a story about phone scams. What do you got?
Many of us have probably received calls from scammers like, you want a cruise, just give us your credit card number, and we've all received those crazy calls. But now scammers have a leg up because they're using a technology that gives them credibility. They're using a technology that allows them to disguise their phone numbers. They can pretend to be calling from your utilities company, from your local police station, and it's horrible because people are really falling for it. In Montclair, a man was bilked out of $5,500 when someone called his phone impersonating the police officer, saying that he owed this amount of money in taxes, and if he didn't pay it, in 2 hours he was going to be arrested.
So they were instructed to go to one of the stores and get prepaid cards and purchase $5,000, over $5,000 in prepaid cards, and furnish the redemption codes to the suspect.
He says this is not just a Montclair issue. He's monitoring this in other counties. It's really on the rise, and they're impersonating your utilities company, saying your lights are going to be turned off in a couple of hours if you don't wire a certain amount of money. And they are impersonating kidnappers. This is the most disturbing story that I heard.
The victims were contacted by a caller who claimed to have been in a car accident with one of their family members. They actually had the family members' names and information, and they claimed that now they had the family members held hostage and would not release the family members or would threaten to harm them.
Fortunately, her roommate called the police. They were able to intercept, got in touch with that relative, determined that it was a scam, and they were able to intercept before she completed wiring that money. But that's not the first time that a scam like that has gone on record.
I would think it'd be relatively simple to verify, right? It's a police officer on the phone, allegedly, right? And I call the cops and say, this is what's happening. Are people really falling for this?
I think scammers are getting smarter, and it's also like that mail you get, from Nigeria where you want $1 million. Well, most people don't fall for it, but if 1 out of every 1,000 people falls for it, that's enough money.
It was 10 million, and I only had to send them 100, and I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
Exactly. Bill, to answer your point, the advice that Montclair police are giving is call the police back to confirm that it's them. But if you're being threatened to be arrested, would you really want to tell the police?
I mean, if someone calls and says your lights are going to be turned off in 2 hours, think about it. Have you paid your bills?
Maybe you haven't.
The money.
Valid point.
That could be legitimate. So, I got an email this morning, dreadful news that my father's stuck in Istanbul without his bag, his passport. It actually came from his email address, and he needed me to send him some money. I started getting calls and text messages from people asking me if my dad was okay. I cleared everything up. I told them, do in fact send the money, but send it to me.
There you go.
Oh, my goodness.
Thanks, Aisha.